we know that for people to live in a place, you have a kind of optimal temperature. If it gets too cold, we see people dying. If it gets too hot, people die because, you know, you get too much stress on your body, both sides, if it is too cold or it's getting too hot. And, you know, for example, if the temperature goes up and you go to the extremes, the body can't cope with the temperature anymore. And that's what one leads to stress in the body. It leads to cardiovascular malfunctioning, and also ultimately it leads to premature deaths. We know that if you have trees in cities, it's actually very good for human health. First of all, you know, we know that in general trees are good. I mean, they reduce premature mortality, reduce cardiovascular disease, also they reduce mental health disorders. They improve cognitive functioning, both in the children and the elderly. We see also better birth outcomes, but also at the same time, we know that the trees provide cooling. We know that the city centers are too hot in a way. You have the urban heat island effects, and these trees actually can provide cooling through shading, but also through evaporation. The more trees you plant, the more reduction in the urban heat island effect in the temperatures is there. But of course, there is always a maximum because you can't just put the whole city full of trees because then it would be a forest. So many cities actually have proposed that we should have at least 30% tree coverage in cities. At the moment in the cities we looked at, this is about half, about 15% of the area is covered by trees. So in this way, in our study, we looked at for if we double the tree coverage in cities, so from 15 to 30%, by how much can you reduce the temperature? And we find that you can reduce the temperature by about 1.7 degrees Celsius in these particular cities. You don't only have to plant trees, for example, you could also have green walls or green roofs to actually reduce the temperature. At the same time, what you can do is if you can't green, you can paint the roofs, paint them white or reflective, so the temperature doesn't get absorbed. Also, what we could do other things is like reduce car use within the city, or, you know, particular fossil fuel cars or other vehicles, because, you know, if you look at cars, when they drive, 85% of the petrol that's being used is actually emits as heat in the city. Only 15% is to move the car forward.